totally free. So if you're here, Sheila, I see you. Good to see you. If you are here and you have a friend or a family member that you know needs to take their money game to the next level, or you know they want to take their money game to the next level, go ahead and copy and paste this Zoom link, send it to somebody and say, get in this room now. A multi-millionaire is about to drop some gems. You want to be in the room. Just copy and paste it to 3 to 5 people and say, just get in the room. I promise you, you never know how you could be a catalyst in somebody else's life just by sharing a link. But lastly, I'll say this tonight, although this is a free event, I want you to show up tonight as if you paid to be in this room. You're like, Michael, why in the world would I do that? I want you to show up tonight like you paid to be in this room because we know people who pay attention, people who pay attention. Just nod your head at me if you get that. People who pay attention. How many times have you guys gotten a free course or got some kind of free book and you never even opened it, right? But tonight, you guys are action takers because you're showing me you're here in the room listening, you're watching. But I want you all to show up tonight like you paid me $1,000, like you paid Marvin $1,000 to be here. Because we know if you did pay $1,000, you'd be sitting up a little bit more straight. You got that notebook a little closer to you. You'd be listening a little bit more intently. So tonight, I want you to go all out, play all out, and play as if you invested $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 to be here. Okay? Are we cool? Just put cool in the chat. We're good to go, y'all. Mr. Marvin is getting ready. Okay, I see it. Miss Walters say cool. Devin says cool. Monica says cool. All right, well, listen, who you are about to learn from tonight, I'm so excited. If you have no clue who Marvin Mitchell is, well, I'm telling you, you are in for a treat. Mr. Marvin Mitchell is a Hall of Fame financial advisor. Not many advisors can say that. There's hundreds of thousands of financial advisors around the United States. In the top 1%, maybe the top 0.01%, because he's in the Hall of Fame. Marvin has built multiple 6 and 7 and 8-figure businesses amongst himself and his clients. But one thing I love about Marvin is his heart to serve. He has coached and mentored like this hundreds of thousands of people. He's given back millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars back through his efforts between charity and between, just different avenues and ways he's coached people. And tonight he's going to be here to coach you all. So if you're ready for Mr. Marvin Mitchell to grace this stage and come show you how to become a true wealth creator in 2025, put a fire emoji in the chat. If you can find the fireball emoji, drop it in the chat real quick for me. All right. Awesome. And you guys are popping in the chat. Man, that was fast. I see you all. Okay, awesome. Well, Mr. Marvin Mitchell, welcome to the wealth creation class. The floor is yours. Let's go ahead and add some value to the class today.
All right. All right. Good to see everybody today. Again, I'm excited to be able to be in your presence today. And I just pray that the God guides me to give you all some information that you can implement right away to change your life. So we're talking about some great topics today. We're talking about how money works, financial literacy. I just got to tell you right off the back that we are horrible when it comes to financial literacy. I just got to be upfront with you. And when I say horrible at financial literacy, that has nothing to do with how much money you're making. I know people who make a lot of money, millionaires, who are still poor when it comes to financial literacy. And I know people, in fact, I just met with a client um, about an hour ago. This person never made more than $50,000 per year in her life. And yet she had over 3 million saved for retirement because she had a different type of mindset. So we got to get the right mindset, but it doesn't mean we deprive ourselves. We're not looking to have a scarcity lifestyle. We're looking to have an abundant lifestyle. Somebody write the word abundant in the chat. We got to understand it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And your money can only grow as much as your mindset. Okay. So if I have $1 million, but yet my mindset is still here, I'm eventually going to lose that $1 million because it didn't catch up with my mindset. That's why a lot of football players end up broke because their mindset was never there. They got the money. That's why a lot of people who win the lottery, they end up broke because they got the money, but they never developed the mindset. But what we're going to do is we're going to do both. We're going to develop the mindset to keep the money, but we're also going to make the money. Are y'all good with that? We're going to make money and we're going to keep money. We're going to multiply that money too. This is what it's all about. So just to make a introduction of myself on why I'm doing what I'm doing. Number one, this is a purpose. This is a calling. I've been in the financial industry now for 20 years now. Started when I was 21. So you can sort of guess how old I am, but I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm a Hall of Fame financial advisor. What does that actually mean? It means, oh, in our industry, we have our peers that can vote based on production and based on what we do in the community and what we do for the industry. We can be elected into a Hall of Fame. Now, I'm the youngest person ever elected into the Hall of Fame, and I'm the second African American ever elected to the Hall of Fame. So I go around and I train advisors all around the country, and I also have a mentorship where I train my mentees how to get the money and how to keep the money and how to build up their cash flow. So this is what I do. I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about who I am, and then I'm going to teach you some principles that you could take with you, today. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Right. So here's what I do. I help um, my mentees with proven strategies for building wealth, achieving financial independence, and also retiring early, as if you want to, right? First thing we're going to do is help you. We want to help you to turn bad debt into good debt and harness the power of other people's money. Now, let me tell y'all, there is a difference between debt. All debt is not created equally. I don't want you to fear debt. I want you to fear too much bad debt. So I'll give you an example. I just had this happen to me. I made a financial mistake on this one, although I enjoyed it. So when I bought my Range Rover, I wanted to get it brand new, custom. And what was this? Back in 2020, I got a Range Rover that was about 170 grand. So it was fine. I enjoyed it. But unfortunately, just recently, my house flooded. My basement flooded, as well as it came up so high that it completely totaled my Range Rover. Now, it was totaled. The insurance company, they have to match the current value of the car. Well, they offered me 64 grand. Now, keep in mind, I paid 170 grand for this car. It had depreciated by 100 grand. It's $100,000 depreciation. I couldn't help but to think, man, I should have bought a vehicle that held its value better. Now I do have a couple that holds value a lot better, but also I was thinking I didn't just lose the $100,000. I lost what that $100,000 could have earned had I invested it over the last 4 years as well. Because that $100,000, had I had it in the market, would have been worth $300,000 now. So I didn't lose 100,000. It's called um opportunity cost. So not you can't just think of the cost. You got to think about what was the opportunity if you did not spend that money. Does that make sense? So the Range Rover, although it got me around because it depreciated so fast, it might have been considered bad debt. But if I had put a lot of that money into real estate to make enough cash flow to pay the car note, then that would be considered good debt. So don't be afraid of debt. Be afraid of debt that's not making you any money. Okay. So we go back to this chart. Tax mastery. This is big. How do you optimize your taxes, keeping more of your earnings and accelerating your wealth? So let's talk about that for a second. We've been bamboozled. I'm going to shock some of you all. Now, I hope you're at least saving in something, maybe your 401k or something. How many of you all are saving in a 401k through a job? Or how many of you have ever saved in a 401k on a job? Put a one in the chat. Maybe if you saved in a 401k, you're saving in your 401k through your job, or maybe when you did work corporate America, you had a 401k, or maybe you have some type of 401k, even if you're a business owner. All right, good, good. So many of you are saving. Now let me ask y'all a question. I see what's going on. Mark, it's good to see you in the room today. I'm seeing some people, familiar faces today. Hiram, I see you, some familiar faces in the room as well. Just kind of scanning through. All right, so Hiram, let's say, let me put you up here for a second. Now, Hiram, long time no see, man.
Yes, it has, man. I'm
It's been a
back in the
long
country.
time. Huh?
I'm back here in the country now.
Well, that's good. Well, I haven't seen you in a while. Hiram is a now tell everybody what you do. I know you're a big time
uh,
production manager, producer.
yeah, I'm a celebrity event planner, a corporate event planner for most major television networks.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's a couple people you worked with in the past?
Oh, Russell Simmons, the Winfields. I don't want to say his name because P Diddy.
Oh my God. Let me cancel you. No, I'm just kidding.
On the good
I'm
side,
messing with you.
on the good
All
side,
right.
on the good
So
side. But a lot of it, Lynn Whitfield, a lot of high profile.
okay. So use you as an example really quick. Let's just say you came to me and you wanted to borrow 10 grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we know each other enough, I can give you 10 grand potentially. But if I gave you 10 grand and you walked away, what are two things you're going to want to know before you take that $10,000 loan?
When do I have to pay it back? Was one.
When do you have to pay it back? What else?
Uh, what am I going to do with it?
What else? Something else. You're going to want to know. If you're getting a loan, what are you going to want to know?
How much interest on the loan?
Yes, there you go. So you want to know when you have to pay it back and how much interest.
Right.
Now, what if I said, man, that's a great question. I have no idea. In fact, go ahead and just take the money. Don't worry about it. But one day, I will decide how much interest I want to charge you. And at that time, you're going to owe me that interest that I think about in the future, retroactively to the day that you gave me the loan. Oh, and by the way, I don't know when I want the money back, but when I do want it back, if you don't pay me back at that time that I say I wanted my money back on the spot, if you don't pay me, I'm also going to charge you a 50% penalty in addition to the interest rates. But
Wow.
go ahead and take that loan. Are you taking that loan?
Hell no. I'm not touching it.
You say, I'm not touching the loan.
I'm not touching it.
Now,
No.
what if I told you that most of the people in this room who just put a one in the chat unknowingly have already taken that loan? So think so,
I'm a
so
witness.
think
I've
about it
done
this
it
way,
before.
Hiram. Think about it this way. When you overfund your 401k because they tell you it's going to defer your taxes and save you money on taxes now, when you do that, you're not deferring the taxes, you're not saving money on taxes, you're just delaying the taxes. But when you delay the taxes, you're also delaying the tax calculation. So at any point, they can raise taxes. And then when you take money out of your account, you have to pay the taxes retroactively to the day that you gave them the money.
Wow.
Second thing is they have something that's called required minimum distributions. At some point, they're going to want their money. And if you don't give them the money out of the IRA 401k when they want it, they will charge you a 50% penalty. By the way, when you give them the money, when you take out the money, you got to pay taxes on it. If you don't take it out and pay taxes, they're going to hit you with another 50% penalty. So who sounds like they're more in control, you or the
No way.
institutions?
The institutions. Definitely
The
institutions.
institutions, right? The government, they're in control. So when they have convinced us to put all of our money into a place that we can't even touch until we're 59 and a half, if that don't sound like control, I don't know what does. I can't touch my money until I'm 59 and a half. And even when I am 59 and a half and I pass that age, you're going to tax me. And even after you tax me on that, you're going to force me to take the money out and charge me a 50% penalty if I don't take it out. See, they tell you about the front end, but they don't tell you about the back end until it's too late. Anybody in the room, 70 or older in the room? If you're 70 or older, put a one in the chat. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate you volunteering to come up here. Good to see you. Okay, so we got a couple people that's 70 or older. So they have to take out required, they're going to have to start taking out required minimum distributions. And when they take that out, they have to pay taxes on that particular money. You see, you can learn a lot from talking to somebody who's already going through what your future self will have to go through if you don't do something different. So my job today is to expose you on what your future self need to know if you're going to make a difference, right? So you got to understand from a tax perspective, you're going to choose to pay taxes on the seed or pay taxes on the harvest. If you pay taxes on the seed, it's like getting your money into, you pay taxes on the seed, that means you're going to pay taxes now, which means you're going to put your money into like a Roth, or you're going to put your money into a cash value life insurance. You're paying taxes on an amount now, but you won't have to pay anything later. If you put it into a tax deferred 401k or IRA, then you save a little bit money on taxes. You don't pay taxes on the seed, but you wait until it grows and then you pay taxes on the harvest. So if you had to choose between paying taxes on the seed or paying taxes on the harvest, what do you think is better, the seed or the harvest? Absolutely, the seed, because it's a smaller amount. The harvest is a larger amount. You see, the government wants you to to pay the taxes on the seed. I mean, they want you to pay taxes on the harvest and give you a tax break on the seed because they understand the power of compound interest over time. So all we're trying to get you to do is learn the same rules. See who won the first time that somebody taught you to play tic-tac-toe. Who won? Was it you or was it the person that showed it to you? It's the person that showed it to you, right? Because they understood the rules of the game, and I'm trying to teach you the rules of the game as well. So taxes, that's a big thing where people are losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily. Real estate. I own over 500 units of real estate. So, from your first home to a vacation property to multiple income generating rentals. That's a strategy that you need to know. More millionaires are in the real estate industry, in the financial industry. Do you have a stake in the life insurance industry, the financial industry? Do you have a stake in the real estate industry? I don't know about you, but I want to go where most millionaires are being made. Also, you have to adapt the millionaire mindset. You got to adopt the habits and the strategies of the wealthy. These are some of the things that we're talking about. You see, wealthy people, they're not afraid of debt. Poor people are afraid of debt, but they still you get in debt anyway, and they run from it because they buy bad debt. Rich people, they understand bad debt and good debt. They buy good debt. I was reading a book. I don't know if I have it right here. This book that I'm reading is called oh, you probably can't see it, but it says the letters from John D. Rockefeller, and it's basically letters to his son. And one of the things that he talks about in this book is the power of using debt, the power of using other people's debt. And this was at the time the richest man in the world during this particular time. He says to mortgage your future. He said borrowing money is to create good luck, believe it or not. He says, I can understand why using my money to go to the stock market makes you feel a little uneasy because you want to win, but you are afraid to lose in that adventurous world. And the lost money is not yours, it is borrowed, and you still have to pay interest. Um, what is he saying here? Oh, he says, among the wealthy people I know or that I'm acquainted with, there are very few people who rely on accumulating small bits of wealth day by day who eventually become who they are now. More people make money by borrowing money. That's a key. The reason is not so historic. Buying and selling a dollar profit each is far less profitable than buying and selling $100. Whether it is to win wealth or to win in life, what good people think about in competition is not what they will lose, but what they should do to become a winner. Borrowing money is to create good luck. If I can borrow enough cash to mortgage a piece of land, and allow myself to monopolize a larger area, then I will seize this opportunity without hesitation. So understand, wealthy people use debt. Elon Musk is what they say the richest man. He didn't get by Twitter with cash. He borrowed the money because they understand the power of leverage. Okay. If that makes sense to you, put a yes in the chat. I want to make sure you're with me, because so many of us are afraid of the word debt. But you can't be afraid of debt. Too many people are working to try to pay off their debt 100%. But I'm going to teach y'all something in a minute. There are so many people who are in such a rat race with debt that their entire life is spent saying, if only I could become debt free. If only I could become debt free. If only I could become debt free. Well, even if they do become debt free, guess what? Now you're at zero. Congratulations, you're still broke, right? There are homeless people on the street that don't have debt, but they're not in a better financial situation than you. We can't just think about surviving and being debt free. We got to think about thriving and making money for our family and for the next generation. So a little bit about me. Now I'm a 19-year Hall of Fame financial advisor, top 5 finalist for Advisor of the Year. I built and scaled 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. I've helped people to create millions. In fact, I did over 7 million in revenue multiple times. My goal for you today is to guide you towards financial freedom using the power of leverage to grow your money. So the strategies that you are about to learn are not theoretical. They're the same ones that took me from poverty. Literally, I was living in a shelter when I was in my younger years. My mom struggled. I grew up in the city. My dad was in jail my whole life, to truly becoming an 8-figure investor. And it's not just me. This is what I love about it. I have testimonies, hundreds and hundreds of testimonies of people who I've helped do the same thing, change their mindset, transform what they think about money, and go out and make a lift. I've helped several people leave their jobs. I've helped several people create passive income, more and more and more testimonials. But if you stick with me to the end of this webinar today, I'm going to show you how you'll have the ability to potentially work with me. So this webinar is for you if you are tired of the old ways of financial planning. You are longing for a financial peace of mind. You are driven to create a solid financial foundation and leave a legacy for your family. Maybe you just want to be a generational curse breaker. If you dream of financial independence and freedom, if you are ready to explore new ways to make your money work harder for you, so instead of you being the person that has to work just to get paid, how about we reverse that and show you how to work, get paid. See, I'm not interested in 27 paychecks a year, getting paid every 2 weeks. What I'm interested in is getting paid every day. I want to see money hitting my account every day. I want to wake up and see money hit my account every day. Somebody write every day in the chat. How many of you want money coming in while you sleep? That sleep money. See, that sleep money hit different when you go to sleep and wake up. Wake up the next day and check your account and more money hit your account. That's different. But this is what we want to help you to create. Passive residual income that you don't have to keep working for. See, most people are going about this the wrong way. Most people are going about this the wrong way. What they're doing is only saving their 401ks, IRAs, TSP, relying on Social Security. Well, the Social Security Administration already said that by 2034, if they don't make changes, Social Security is going to have to be cut by 15% across the board. What about relying on pensions? Pensions are barely even around anymore unless you're military or maybe a teacher, and they're only relying on one source of income. This is not the way to wealth. You cannot save your way to wealth, right? You have to be an investor. You got to be a wealth creator. Passive income works for you 24/7, even while you sleep and enjoy your life. It allows you to build wealth without trading your time directly for money. And it provides financial security and resilience in uncertain economic times. Passive income greater than your expenses, that equals financial freedom. Now, again, I still haven't fully introduced myself. I don't think I will be able to, but I'll try to explain a little bit more about who the heck is Marvin Mitchell. How many, put a one in the chat if you knew who I was, you followed me for a while, even before you saw the information about the webinar. Put a one in the chat. Okay, just a few of you, few of you. Just curious, the ones who put a one, how did you find me? How did you find me? Where did you find me at? Dwayne says, earn your leisure, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, okay, Facebook. All right, now this is what's gonna be crazy. Put a two in the chat if you've never heard of me before you saw something pop up for this webinar. Okay, so we speaking to a lot of new faces today. That's good. That's good. So let me go ahead and introduce a little bit more about who I am today. So I was born and raised St. Louis, Missouri. Again, I didn't always have it easy. My grandmother Betty, she played a huge role in my life because back when we were struggling, she pulled us in and she taught me. Number one, she told me that I would be a generational curse breaker, and she made me do affirmations, and she spoke life into me. She said, never let your circumstances dictate the outcome of your life. She said that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And she taught me faith. She made me a believer. And one of the things that she also did was she was tough on me because she recognized that I was the answer to take our family out of bondage. And I became the first person in my family to graduate from college. Um, Not to say college is the all in answer, but I did go to college, and when I graduated, I attended law school in Texas. Now, while I was in law school, the first semester, unfortunately, my grandmother became sick with cancer, and my mom called and she said, I had the unfortunate news. And as many of you know, that when somebody gets sick, there's typically one or two people doing all of the work, and that was my mom. So I actually left law school, came back to St. Louis to help take care of my mom, and my grandma. And when she passed away, again, she was afraid that she would be a burden on the family. She lost a lot of money in the stock market. She had no long-term care. She felt like she was a burden. And when she passed away, I decided that I would enter into the financial industry to make sure this didn't happen with anybody else that I knew. And man, that was a eye-opening experience. Number one, it made me struggle. I remember one of my first checks was an $80 check. My mortgage was $1,200. I couldn't afford that mortgage with an $80 check. So I went to church and I gave that entire $80 check to the church because I said, you're going to have to multiply this like you did the two fishes and the five loaves because there's nothing I can do with this $80 check. So I began to become a believer because once I gave that $80 check, the next day they did a raffle on my job and I won a $500 gift card. Now, 500 still couldn't pay my mortgage, but guess what it did? It planted a seed of belief in me. And I began to really believe in the power of words, the power of manifestations, the power of intention, the power of belief. And I began to manifest. So in 2014, I wrote two checks to myself. One check I wrote for $1 million. Another check I wrote for $10,000. Now, again, I wrote this like a year or 2 years in advance, right? I didn't have the money. But what I did was I looked at this check every single day. Every single day I looked at this check and says, I'm going to be able to cash this check one day. I'm going to be able to cash this check one day. my powerful story really happened with that $10,000 because I remember my mom. This was probably June of 2015. She was in a bank. She started a handbag business, and she was in a bank saying, "I know you're a financial advisor. I just need your advice. I'm about to take this loan. Should I take it? I don't have any other options. I need the money." I said, "How much is the loan?" My mom said, "I don't want to tell you. I'm embarrassed." I said, "How much is the loan?" She said, $10,000. I said, "Mom, you're not going to believe this, but I wrote a check for you a year ago, and I was supposed to give it to you in a couple of months, but I can give it to you right now." I gave her the $10,000 check. My mom broke down, started crying, couldn't believe it. Again, the power of setting your intentions and manifestations. And let me say, by 2016, I wasn't able to cash a check in 2016, but by 2017, I had the money. Sometimes when you aim high, you may not get it exactly at that time, but you're moving in the right direction. And I want you all to be looking to move in that right direction. So, one of the best decisions that I made in my life is the power of mentorship. Even when I didn't have it, I remember I invested $55,000 into a mentorship and I locked in for 1 year straight. I blocked out all distractions. And let me tell y'all, as scary as it was the best decision I ever made. And it changed my life forever and it changed other people's life. It made me into the entrepreneur I am today to be able to help thousands of people worldwide. I'm here to tell you that belief, affirmations, manifestations, speaking those things that are not as though they are, is real. Here I am sharing the stage now with Russell Brunson, who is the owner of ClickFunnels. Here's one of my mentors, Myron Golden. I was able to win his coveted $5 million in a day award. Myron's not giving out a $5 million in a day award to people who didn't do the $5 million in a day. I was able to win the $1 million Two Comma Club Award through ClickFunnels. Here I am with Myron Golden. I was able to bring on TD Jakes. He spoke at my conference as my keynote speaker. Grant Cardone. Here I am being interviewed on a Breakfast Club. Magic Johnson, just a powerful insights. I've been on the news every single week. Social Proof with David Shands. As I mentioned, the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God, and at the time, Angela Yee. And here I am being elected into the Hall of Fame in the middle here. Speaking at conferences around the world. I've written 8 books total. This is 6 of the books that I've written. And as I mentioned, I would have been able to cash that $1 million check if I wanted to, which is an amazing thing. I own my building, which I'm in right now. This is my financial firm. And again, several other opportunities that I've done to build wealth. I was able to. I'm not even a materialistic person, but it's fun to say that I've been able to fly in private jets and I own a Rolls Royce, Cullinan, and a Lamborghini. All that stuff is fun. But the ironic thing is I've enjoyed it enough now. Now I'm getting ready to sell it. But what was really great is I've been able to start a scholarship fund. Since 2015, I've been donating money for young African American males to go to school. And I've been donating money to the Cancer Association because my grandmother passed away from cancer, the Kidney Foundation. I have an aunt that struggled with a kidney disease. And, this is really what it's all about, right? When you're able to give back, feed, here I am volunteering my time. We go to shelters and we make sandwiches and different things like that. This is really what you want. So my goal today is to help you to get that same freedom. I want to create 200 passive income millionaires. That's my goal. These are individuals whose, again, income surpasses their living expenses, thereby increasing their net worth. Now, if you want to be one of those 200 people, let me see you put a me in the chat. Or us in the chat if you together with your spouse. I love it. Let's go. And here I am to tell you it is possible. When I tell you it is so possible, I'm going to tell you the only thing that's standing in your way of your goal and where you are today is your environment and who you've been listening to and what you've been telling yourself. That's it. A lot of times we don't realize the power of words, and we're destroying our ambitions before we even have an opportunity to have those ambitions. We're telling ourselves things such as, I can't afford it. Well, guess what you're going to attract? Lack. You're telling yourself, I can't do it, or it's going to be hard. Well, guess what you're attracting? Hard. You see, you got to understand that there are a lot of principles in the word. One of the principles is to speak those things that are not as though they are. What does that mean? Does that mean you lie? No, it means that you believe who God tells you you are, not with your current circumstances. See, we already have an inheritance. We just got to be willing to claim that inheritance that is already ours. You see, if we were made in the image of God, so was Abraham. He was made in the image of God. He was a rich man. David, rich man. Solomon, rich man. Jacob, rich man. Joshua, rich man. I can go on and on and on. Why can't it happen for you? Somebody tell me, why can't it happen for you? It absolutely can happen for you. And don't tell me, well, I might be too old now. That time has passed. No, it did not. I have a friend, 68 years old. He didn't get into his niche until he was 68 years old. $200,000 in debt. 68. That man is a multimillionaire today at the age of 73. Don't tell me what's not possible. It's possible. The only thing that makes it impossible is you. Sheila, I must have been talking to you. Sheila said, I'm 68. Well, Sheila, you got to use that as confirmation. 68 is not a common number. Okay? Listen to me. Hear me out. The Bible says, I know y'all wanted to hear about life insurance and all of that, and I promise you we're going to get into that, but I want you to hear me out. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Whatever you're thinking and feeling and telling yourself, you're right. If you're telling yourself, I can't do it, I can't afford it, this is too hard, this won't work, I don't have the money, I don't want to invest in myself because I get scammed every time and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? You're right. But if you start thinking differently and you start telling yourself, I can do this, I will do this, I believe, I trust in humanity, things always work out for my good. Guess what? It will. You have more power than you think. You just have to claim that power. You have power. You are the captain of your soul. And the time is now. Not next week, not January when the new year starts, not next year. The time is now. The word now, what does that stand for? N-O-W. No opportunity wasted. You see, we have to learn how to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime during the lifetime of that opportunity. No opportunity wasted. Somebody write the word now in the chat. Now, no opportunity wasted. You got to really feel that. You got to really believe that. No opportunity wasted. This is your time. This is your season. The time is now. Today, during this call, it can happen for you. You can change your mindset and start opening up the doors for God to pour out a blessing that you can't even contain. So I've discovered that there are 5 key levers that has helped me and thousands of my students achieve tremendous financial success. Yes, I'm ready. You got to be ready. If you're not ready, life will wait for you. But why make life wait if you're ready now? Right? The quicker you get to your dreams, the longer you get to live those dreams. We don't have time to wait. We take an action. So one of the things that I teach is leveraging life insurance to become your own bank. I also teach improving personal and business credit. This is one of the levers as well. The third level is building or acquiring a profitable business. Why? Because the tax breaks goes to the business owner, not the employee. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with being an employee. It means the tax benefits go to the business owner, not the employee. We also believe in creating passive income by investing in assets. And also we believe in protecting your assets with a trust. So those are the things that I teach. Now, I won't have time to go through all 5 of these levers today, but I'm going to definitely talk to you about lever number 1, which is leveraging your life insurance to become your own bank. And I'm also going to tell you an opportunity towards the end on how you can attend another class on where in 5 days, I'm going to help teach you all 5 levers to help you to take your finances to a whole nother level. You're going to get enough today where it can change your life for free, but I'm also going to tell you about something else as well. So first thing I'm going to teach you about something that's called the private reserve model. Okay, so let me tell you how. First, I want to tell you how most people get it wrong when it comes to finances. Personal economic. Go ahead and share my screen really quick. I'm just going to talk to y'all about how money works in this little chart. So let me get rid of these things to make it less confusing. All right, so what this tank represents, the lifetime capital potential tank, represents all of the money that you will ever earn in your lifetime, from your jobs, from businesses, from whatever. This represents your lifetime capital potential. Now, do you get to keep everything in your lifetime capital potential? Absolutely not. You got to spend some of it, right? So what happens is it flows out of your lifetime capital potential tank. And the first thing that you're going to have to do is go through the tax regulator, which means you got to pay taxes on some of that money. Now, the problem is that some people pay a lot more taxes than others because they don't know how to properly regulate their taxes. Now, once it flows through the tax regulator, now you have a choice. It flows through your lifestyle regulator. What your lifestyle regulator does, it's your choice on what to do with that money. What some people do is they never save any of it. They get debt and they just let that money flow through. They spend the money on their house, their cars, shopping, entertainment, whatever it is, and that money is just gone and lost forever. What some people do is not only do they spend all of their money, they also go and they borrow money when they don't have the money. And what they're doing is they're robbing themselves of their future obligation because now you have to pay off that before you can start building assets again. So what others might do is they're going to actually pump some of that money up to their future lifestyle, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, into their investment tank and their savings tank, and then they're just going to spend the rest. But what they've done is they've actually built a savings or a risk tank along with it, right? So Let me explain this in a way that you can understand. So let me erase this. Let's just say I'm 42 and my retirement age is 65. I'm making $102,000 a year, and my growth of my income is growing about 3% every year because I'm getting raises every year. And let's say I only have about $88,000 saved, earning 6% on that money per year. Well, when I calculate that 102,000 over that 23-year time frame is about 3,310,194, because I calculated the 23 years, 102,000 with a 3% increase. Now my wealth potential is actually 6,989,000, and that's because of my money growing at 6%. That means 6,989,710 would have went through my big income tank throughout my lifetime. Now, do I get to keep all of that money? Absolutely not. Why? Because you got to pay taxes. Some of y'all got debt. You got to pay off your debt services. And of course, you got your lifestyle where maybe you're spending 55% on your lifestyle, travel, mortgage, etc. So when you add that up, this is most people's. So now this person is 65 and they have $668,000 saved. Some of y'all are thinking, 668,000, I wish. Now this was based on 5%. Now most people don't even save 5%. The recommendation is 10%, 15%, 20%. Most people don't even save 5. The average American saves about 2%. And they wonder why 77% of people run out of money before we retire. Okay, but I want to make this much worse for you. Even if you save the 668,000, you pay taxes over your lifetime of $1,663,393. How does it feel knowing that you gave the government 3 times more money than you've actually saved yourself? This is most people. To make matters worse, you pay $998,000 in interest from debt services, which means you pay institutions for debt more than you saved for yourself. You pay the IRS and banks and institutions more money than you saved for yourself, and then the rest of it was spent on your lifestyle. You see, most of us, we try to put a Band-Aid over the situation instead of actually fixing the situation. So what we go and do is we say, well, we go to an advisor or try to pick different investments, and we say, I need to make 7% instead of 6%. Well, when you make 7% instead of 6%, what you're actually also doing is taking more risk where you can lose the money. But let's just say you made 7% instead of 6%. Well, now congratulations, you got 794,000. That's nice, but does it actually change your life? No. Let me show you the wealth creator's way of thinking. The wealth creator is not just looking to earn a higher rate of return. They're saying, well, what if I can get my taxes down to 15% instead of 25%? What if I can get my debt services down to 5% instead of 15%? Then I can still enjoy the same lifestyle that I'm enjoying today, but the rest of that money can go to savings where I've saved 25%. So when you do that, you still kept a 6% rate of return. Now you have $2 million, almost $2 million saved. Remember, you live the exact same lifestyle, but simply just being more efficient with the funds that you have help you to have another $1.4 million saved. But what's even better is now you have almost $2 million saved, but you saved more than you paid in taxes and more than you paid in debt services combined. We got to flip the script. Instead of you giving all of your money to the government and financial institutions, how many of you want more of that money into your pocket? Remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. This is the testament of a true wealth creator. And this is what we do. You work for this money. I want you to keep this money. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you really quickly. There's 3 different types of people when it comes to money. Okay. You have a debtor, a saver, and you have a wealth creator. What the debtor does, they're going to go into debt and they're spending their entire life attempting to get out of debt. They're in a rat race. They go into debt again and they keep following this same pattern over and over and over again. They take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They say, if I can only get debt free, I'll finally be okay. But again, remember, being debt free only takes them to 0. They still haven't built any assets. They're still not protecting themselves long term. They're just getting out of bondage, which isn't bad. But we don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. What the saver does, the saver, they're going to save everything. And I say, I'll buy my new car with cash. Then they're going to save, and then they pay cash. And they puff their chest out because this is a lot better than a debtor because they're in control. They're on the other side. But here's the problem with the saver. They save, but every time they pay cash, they spend the money, which means they stop the forward momentum of their money, and now they have to rebuild it, take the time to resave it before they get back to where they were. And then they spend it again, and they keep repeating this cycle over and over and over and over again. So if you're not a saver, then what should you be? This is where a wealth creator comes in. A wealth creator never ever stops their forward momentum of money. In fact, when it's time for them to buy something, they're going to borrow against themselves, good debt. They're going to borrow against themselves, and then they're going to pay it back. They're going to borrow against themselves, and then they're going to pay it back. They're going to borrow against themselves, and then they're going to pay it back. What they're going to do is never stop the forward momentum of their money. Therefore, their growth is going to be able to compound over and over and over. They're wealth creators. So if I had $100,000 sitting in cash earning 5%, if I had $100,000 in cash earning 5%, 1 year later, somebody put in the chat how much money would I have? 100,000 sitting in cash earning 5%. 1 year later, what's the total amount of money that I have? You don't have to be a genius at math to guess this, y'all. Somebody say something. There we go. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. Be afraid to not participate. People who participate, they get results quicker. So you're right. We got $105,000. 105 because it's 5%. So 5% of $100,000 is 5,000. 100,000 plus 5,000 is $105,000. Now, if I have 100,000 sitting in cash and I spend $30,000, now I only have 70,000. So 1 year later, I won't have 105,000. Now, if I'm a wealth creator and I put my money into wealth creation funds and I have $100,000, but this time I borrowed 30,000. So I got $100,000 earning me 5%, but this time I borrowed 30,000. 1 year later, how much money do I have in my account? If I have 100,000 earning 5%, but this time I borrow $30,000 against my money, how much money do I have in my account? Put it in the chat. All right. The answer is, drum roll please, still $105,000. So why is it $105,000? Because my money grew as if I never touched it. So if I got 100,000 earning 5%, that's 105. It doesn't matter if I borrowed $30,000 because it's still growing as if I never touched it. Therefore, I still have $105,000. That's the power of being a wealth creator. Now, here's the real question. If my money is growing, whether I borrow against it or not, should I borrow against it or should I not borrow against it? Some of y'all just got light bulb moments. Devin says, "Oh, I get it." Like mind blowing, right? Should I borrow against it or should I not borrow against it? Absolutely. I should borrow against it. Now, if I do borrow against it, should I buy an asset or should I buy a liability? Now y'all are getting it. That's it. That's the power of being a wealth creator, right? I'm allowing my money to grow through a leveraged account that I can borrow against it so I don't stop the forward momentum of my money. It's going to continue to grow as if I never touched it. And when I go borrow the money, since I know my money will keep growing as if I never touched it, let me take the money that I borrowed to go out and buy an asset. So now my money can work for me 2 times off the same dollar. And that asset, if that asset is real estate, once I build enough equity in that real estate, I can borrow against that equity and do a home equity line of credit and buy another property. Now my money is making money 3 times off the same dollar. And if I go out and I get good debt, good credit, and then I turn that credit to cash to go out and do the down payment for that house, and I paid it off with my wealth creation fund that I borrowed against, now I have my money growing in a life insurance policy as if I never touched it. I have my credit, which I paid off, credit card, which I paid off. So I got all the points for travel, all the points for hotels, and I got both properties that are paying me that I'm using that income to pay back off the money I borrowed from myself. Now I just made money 4 times off the same dollar. So what I've done is I've created what's called money babies. I've allowed my money to grow and I've allowed my money to produce after its own kind and produce babies. Then I allow those babies to grow and I created money grandbabies. That same dollar made me a lot of money, but some of us will cut off our money before it has an opportunity to even grow old enough to become a parent. The money entered one time, you killed it, now it couldn't bear any fruit. So let me show y'all what some of y'all are doing, the savers. Talk to the savers for a second. What you're doing is you're saving, 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 then you're paying cash. That's what the red represents. So we're saying hypothetically, what if I'm saving $5,000 a year? That's less than 500 a month. Now let me make that. We wealth creators, so we're gonna think bigger. Let's say we're saving 24,000 a year. You're saving, 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 then you're paying cash. You're saving, 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 then you're paying cash. You're saving, 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 then you're paying cash. That's the red. That's what most people do. 30 years later, you got $359,000. But the wealth creator, they never stopped the forward momentum of their money. It just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And in doing so, when it was time to buy something, you borrowed against yourself and allowed your money to keep snowballing. That same period of time, you got $2,035,240. That's powerful. So let me just show you this. So how do you increase your borrowing capacity? Contributions, the internal growth, and also reducing the loan. So there are some certain characteristics that you want when you get a wealth creation fund that you can leverage against. Number one, you want it to be tax deferred. You want tax-free distributions. You want a competitive return. You want high contribution limits, deductible contributions if possible. You also want collateral opportunities. That's the ability to borrow against your money. We want it to be safe. We want no loss provisions, which means we don't want to lose. We want guaranteed loan options, which means that no matter what my credit score is, no matter what, if I want a loan, I can get a loan against my money. You want unstructured loan payments, which means that I can pay back the loan if I choose to, but if I choose not to, I don't have to. That's powerful. You'll get that in 1 second because if you use the wealth creation fund, which is a cash value life insurance policy, Even if you don't pay it back, it's simply subtracted from your death benefit when you die. So technically, you never even have to pay it back. Although I want you to pay it back. You also receive liquidity usage control, which means you don't have to wait until you're 59 and a half. And some additional benefits. So, for example, many accounts could count as a private reserve, but not all of them are beneficial. So, for example, what about my 401k? It has 4 of the 5 benefits, and I'll get penalized 10% if I don't pay it back within 5 years. What about a CD? It has 4 of the benefits as well. What about a home equity line of credit? It has 2 of the benefits. The only thing that has almost all of the benefits is cash value life insurance. So let me show you how that works. So you're going to understand more about life insurance than 99% of the people in the world just off of what I'm about to show you in the next 5 minutes. So if you're ready, type in the word ready in the chat. All right. So let's say I had a $500,000 death benefit. There's a minimum amount that I can put into that policy, but there's also a maximum amount that I can put into that policy. Who determines the minimum amount? Who do you all think determines the minimum amount that I can put into a policy? Seeing a lot of different answers. The answer is the company. The company knows how much premium I would have to pay to be profitable. The next question, who do you all think determines the maximum amount that I can put into that policy? Some people said me, the company, the policyholder, the government, and that is the correct answer. The answer is the government. Now, why would the government be concerned about how much money I put into a life insurance policy? Does that make sense? Why is the government all up in my business about a life insurance policy? I want y'all to stop and think about that. Because you don't have to pay taxes on it. What does the government care about? Tax revenue, right? So what the government did in the 1980s is they actually formed qualified plans, which is your 401k, your SEP, your 403b, etc. Because now you put the money into the 401k and they get to control you and they get to determine how much you're going to have to pay in taxes. Is no longer invisible to the IRS. And they said that if you put too much money into a life insurance policy, now they'll call it a MEC, which is a modified endowment contract, which means they'll now tax you the way that they tax your 401k, SEP, and 403b. So they still want to control you, but there are ways around it with the life insurance. So if I put in $500, which is the minimum, versus $10,000, which is the maximum, why in the heck would I put in $10,000 into a policy that I could have got the same death benefit for $500? Is it because that extra cash value, well, when I put in the $500, that's called term, which term has one benefit, and that is the death benefit. But if I put in the maximum amount, that money goes to my cash value, and all of that extra money gets these benefits: tax-deferred growth, tax-free distributions, competitive returns, high contribution limits, additional benefits, collateral opportunities, safe, no loss provisions, guaranteed loan options, unstructured loan payments, liquidity use of control, all of the things that we just talked about. So how do you get those benefits? When you structure your policy, you don't want to structure for the highest death benefit. But you got to understand, it's not called death insurance, it's called life insurance. We want to use this for our life. So we want to get the lowest amount of death benefit for the highest amount of living benefit. See, an agent won't tell you about doing it this way because they get 70% less commission for doing it that way. And there are different types of policies that I would recommend. Sometimes you have whole life. The downside about the upside about whole life is that you get a fixed interest rate and you can borrow from it after about 30 days if you structure it right. The second one is index universal life, where you could get a higher rate of return, but you want to wait about 13 months to borrow against it. But you'll get a higher rate of return over time. So what's right for you? It really depends on your goals. Sometimes it's not an either or. Sometimes it can be a both and. I own over 7 policies. And the policies that I do own, I have whole life, I have term, and I have index universal life as well. Now, some people have already dropped off, which is expected, right? But they missed the best part. Because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share something with you all that I'm going to give to you as well. I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet with my team to talk about your personal situation and how you can potentially create your own wealth creation fund complimentary for free, right? The only catch is we only got about 70 spots available and there's 180 people in this room. So when I drop the link, you're going to have to click that link fast and schedule some time. But don't schedule a time if you know you're not going to be available for the call, because we will run out of spots. So this is free. This is not the offer for me to teach you all 5 levers. This is just for you to schedule a meeting to talk to our team. So on the count of 3, I'm going to have my team to go ahead and drop the link. You can click on that link and it will not take you away from the webinar. Okay. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go ahead and drop the link. All right. So just click on that blue link that's in the comment section. And you can schedule some time to meet with my team. But I'm not done yet. Don't leave yet, because I still got a little more to teach. So once you schedule, go ahead and put in done in the chat so I can know that you scheduled some time. All right. Got you. Lakeisha, I got you. Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to make sure everything was working good. I'm seeing a bunch of dones coming through, so we're good to go. So we're going to move on with the next part. All right. So what I want to do is I want to show you all some ways that I've actually used my wealth creation fund to actually make me money. So let me go ahead and show you that. So I got a couple partners and I got me a 76 unit property. Now this 76 unit property, I borrowed from my life insurance policy for my down payment and it pays me money every month. And I was able to pay back off the loan relatively quickly, but my money in the insurance policy continued to grow as if I never touched it. This is a $2 million property that I own in Atlanta. I use it as an asset. I don't live in Atlanta. I actually borrowed against my policy to get the down payment to pay for this home, and I rent it out, and it makes me up to $15,000 a month. And I use some of those profits to pay back off my policy. I've used my money to borrow to buy options and make money off the options market. This is my Lamborghini that I've owned. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Y'all are thinking this is not an asset. That got to be a liability. Well, for my marketing purposes, it actually drives my marketing costs down. It makes more people interested in joining our programs. For whatever reason, people just love the car, young people, old people. So it actually does make me money. I've actually become a hard money lender at one time where I was able to borrow from my policy and loan people, individuals money. So I literally became my bank. to do real estate projects. And I wrote a contract where if they didn't pay me back, I took their house as collateral. I never had a problem with anybody paying me back. And on top of that, I kept making money even when I loaned the money as if I never loaned it in the first place. So those are just some ideas, but understand that leveraging life insurance, other people's money, is what gave me financial freedom. And thousands of my mentees are going crazy, right? Like here's Brandon. Brandon was able to start his policy, but even better yet, he learned the game himself and started teaching other people what I taught him. And he made over $350,000 in 3 months. No, I'm sorry. Brandon actually made over $400,000 in 3 months. Latoya actually made over $350,000 in 3 months. Marcel, who owns a landscape company, which I appreciate Marcel. He's been there since the beginning. He said he's the real deal. He's the best mentor coach that I've ever had in my life. So I began to get recognition all over the United States. But this was no longer about me. This was about helping people to leave their job, helping people to build passive income. So I want you to imagine you now versus where you can be in 2 to 3 years. You could be tell you, you are not a big revelation away from changing your life. You are one person away, one relationship away from changing your life, meeting the right person one time to change your life. That's what happened to me. I met one person that changed my life and taught me some things I didn't know and planted seeds of success and seeds of excellence into my life. The same can be said for you. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to give you all an opportunity to work with me a little bit more, work with me a little bit closer. Is it okay if I presented something to you on how I can help transform your mind in just 5 days and how I can help you to accelerate and get to your goals a little bit faster? Is that okay if I share that with you really quick? All right. But I'll tell you, the people who I know are going to be the most successful, quite frankly, are always the people who take action fast. It just never ceases to amaze me. It's the same every single time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and share this with you. It's gonna take me a couple minutes. And by the way, the people who stick around, we got a special guest today. We're gonna go a little extra time with you because we got a special guest that's gonna teach you about becoming your own bank with real estate. A different way to think about real estate as well. Remember, wealthy people use real estate. Stay around long enough to listen to that. All right. Share my screen. All right, so this is the Transform Your Wealth virtual 5-day challenge. Again, you're going to learn how to build and protect your wealth using the same exact strategies as the ultra wealthy. The methods taught in this class are all about working smarter and not harder. This is going to help you start your new year off right. We're going to be able to level up your wealth in just 5 days. And I've helped thousands and thousands of people go through this already. So it's already fine-tuned. You just have to go through the process. So in this challenge, you're gonna discover how to build your wealth creator's mindset. LaQuanda, go ahead and put your testimony in the chat. I'm reading. You're going to be able to uncover the truth about outdated financial advice that often leads to financial destruction. You're going to learn how to develop the mindset of a wealth creator and harness the power of life insurance, become your own bank, protecting yourself, positioning yourself to control your own financial destiny. We're also going to teach you how to structure your policies effectively. I'm going to teach you how I'm going to show you my actual policies and I'm going to open the door to all of my finances and I'm going to show you an open book, fully transparent to show you how to do it. We're also going to teach you how to build real estate as well as eliminate debt. We're also going to teach you the power of options trading, the power of becoming your own bank, the power of owning nothing and controlling everything and getting the trust, building up your credit, getting $150,000 in funding, as well as setting yourself up for financial success. Okay. So this 5-day challenge is for you if you feel capped in your income. You always feel overworked. You can't seem to break the wealth barrier. You believe you're worth much more than what you're currently making. You're concerned that your hard-earned money is not being maximized the way it should in order to scale. So if you resonate with any of those sentiments, you are not alone. You see, all people have told you before, all you need is a retirement account. Just stick your money into mutual funds. That is false. I'm going to tell you, in the industry for 20 years, that is false. There are many ins and outs when it comes to growing your wealth. So if you are sick and tired of your finances running you, then it's time to break that cycle and step into a new way of playing the money game. In just 5 days, I want to help you to discard all of the old ways you thought about money, all of the old ways that you thought about doing business, and all of the old ways that you thought about your company's finances. And I want to empower you with the secrets of the 1%. You will not regret investing in your future. And I also will tell you this, you do not have to be a business owner. You could be working, you can be retired, you could be young, you could be 60, 70, 80. These principles work for you. This is all virtual, right? So I'm going to tell you, and by the way, it's about an hour, hour and a half a day. It's an hour a day if you choose, hour and a half a day if you choose the platinum, which is what I recommend. So the platinum experience, you're going to get 5 days of training with me. You're also going to get a private Facebook community. You're going to get a pre-challenge kickoff party to get you motivated and ready. You're going to get an exclusive hub of resources. You're going to get a dedicated challenge workbook to keep you accountable. You're going to have the ability to have Q&A with me every single day before the challenge starts. We're going to do Q&A. We're going to have an exclusive background, and you're going to have a platinum-only networking night. So you're going to be able to talk to some of the others who also chose platinum, because these are the go-getters, and you're going to be able to connect with the go-getters of the group. And you're going to get my favorite part is a platinum-only Telegram group, which means you're going to be able to communicate with me even before the challenge starts. You can text me or look at this thing every single day. So if that's you, instead of you paying not the normal $997, if you take action today, you're going to be able to get there for only $397. That's going to get you 5 days, access to me, Telegram group, Q&A, everything. You can take advantage of that, and I'm going to help take you to the next level. On day one, I'm going to show you how to recover an extra $1,000 a month. So this is going to be well worth your investment right away. The second option is VIP. Now, VIP, you get almost everything, but you do not get to ask questions during the Q&A. You don't get the platinum-only networking night, and you cannot have access to me prior to or during the event. So you can't have a Telegram group, which is basically like an instant message where I will receive and be able to respond back to you. That's for $197. And then a general admission. So you don't get really any of these things with general admission, but you do get an opportunity to at least watch the general session, not on Zoom, but you do get to get an opportunity to watch it during the Facebook group. So with that being said, I'm going to give you all an opportunity of a lifetime to take advantage of this. So for what level of people is this training for? Remember, doesn't matter. It's universal. Will there be replays available if you can't attend live? Yes, although I do prefer you attend live. Is this training in person or virtual? It is virtual. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and drop that link on the count of 3. And I want to see who my action takers are, because I want to help you to get to the next level. Okay. So on the count of 3, go ahead and drop that link. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and drop the link. Perfect. Link drop. Let me tell y'all this. This right here could be the very thing that you've been praying for, the very thing that you've been looking for. I'm going to put you into a brand new environment that's going to change your entire financial concept. You're going to be surrounded by people who are supporting you, rooting for you, and you're going to build an entire community of wealth creators. Remember, one of the number one reasons that people are not successful is their environment. We're going to change that environment. You're going to be around people who want to see you win. And number 2, you're going to get me. Now, let me ask you a question. How much are you willing to spend 5 days with somebody who's a multimillionaire who's already done it, who has tickets and receipts that they can show you? Some people pay I paid $200,000 to spend some time with my millionaire mentor. You're going to be able to get me for 5 days for $397 for over an hour a day if you choose platinum or even VIP. This is a steal. This is a steal. I charge $35,000 for a mentorship, and you're getting me for $397 to ask me anything you want so that I can help accelerate you, give you ideas, give you business ideas, give you ideas to expand, give you ideas on how to build your wealth, give you ideas to generate passive income flow. But the only thing I did was gave you that one idea that's going to take you to the next level and start generating passive income. Would it have been worth it? Absolutely. Priceless. Priceless. What's this? At the most 397, at the least 97, so 397. Some of you all paid 397 for one trip. You're paying 397 now, so you can take unlimited trips when you learn the principles I'm going to teach you. So, with that being said, I want to know, Michael, let me know when somebody has taken action so we can call them out.
All right, I got you. I see a few people working on it, so keep working on it. And if you're actually working on getting your ticket tonight, comment the words "working on it" in the chat so we can shout you out. And this is all virtual, okay? I see somebody say I don't take trips. Just so everybody knows, this is all virtual. Attend this from your home, y'all.
And let me tell you this. I mean, I think when she says she don't take trips, she may have been meaning that, well, I don't need the money to take trips because I don't take trips. So
Oh, gotcha. I just tapped in.
So what I would tell you is don't be selfish when it comes to money. And what I mean by that is it's not just about you. I was tasked to be a generational curse breaker, not just for myself, but for my 7-year-old son, for my family, to change the next generation. Who are you robbing from by not understanding this information? Is it worth you taking some time right now to get the information that can change generations to come? Where your great grandkids could say, because of the decisions that my great grandmother made, because of the decisions that my great grandfather made, now I have the opportunity to change that. You have an opportunity.
All right, Marvin, we have our first platinum.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and let us know who that first platinum is.
The first platinum is Joseph Hickey Sr. Joseph Sr. What's up, Joseph?
Joseph. Is Joseph in the room? I don't even see Joseph. You see Joseph? Joseph, are you there? Well, I will get in contact with Joseph if he's not in the room. It may be under a different name. But Joseph, here's what I'm going to do. I love people who take action fast, as I mentioned. So here's what I'm going to do for you, Joseph. I have a $3,000 course that I'm going to give you that course just because you were a fast action taker. Nothing else. And you get to keep the $397 challenge ticket. So I'm gonna give you a $3,397 of value just for the $397 just because you took action fast. So congrats. And while you all are working on it, because I know many of you are working on it, Christelle got her platinum as well. So congratulations to Christelle. And Christelle, since you were close, I'm going to go ahead and give you that $3,000 course as well. So those were the people who were taking action fast. And I like to reward fast action takers because I do understand if you're a fast action taker, you're already a leader. You don't have to wait. You already know you want to do it and you don't have to wait. So congratulations. Congratulations to the immediate action takers. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I want to introduce our guest speakers while you all are getting your tickets. This is one of the mentees in the Wealth Creators, but she's also one of my mentors as well, which is the cool thing. We get to mentor each other. So she is a powerful woman. You'll meet her in just a second. She teaches about becoming your own bank with real estate. And quite frankly, she's about to change your life with the information that she's about to give you. So those of you who stuck around, you are in for a treat. So I cannot wait to introduce to you Coach Rosie Jones Clark. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Marvin, thank you so much. Hey, guys, it is so awesome being here tonight. I am really excited, not just to be here, but I'm excited for you all who have stuck it out. You've been listening, you've been learning. I know Marvin has been, I've been on the call the entire time. I know Marvin has been throwing out the gems tonight, and I pray that you guys have been just gleaning and grabbing and taking all that you can, but not just taking notes tonight on all of the great things that he's saying, but taking action is the most important thing. Like we can sit back and take notes all of our lives, and then when we pass away, someone else has to take those notebooks and throw them out, right? Because those notes mean nothing to the next person. So I want you to begin to now live your dreams, not just write them down, but it's time to actually start living your dreams. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you're that person who's ready to start living your dreams and not just writing them down. Put a one in the chat for me. Yep, I see you, Kathleen and Rose. All right, Dwayne. Somebody saying I'm ready. Callie. I think there was a Teresa, a Pascal. All right, Beverly. I mean, yeah, let's fire them off. Got to be ready, got to be ready, got to be ready, right? So I want to talk to you tonight. I've been in this program for 3 years in December, and it has been the absolute best thing that I could have ever done, not just for me, but for my family and other people that are actually connected to me. I'm so excited. I joined the program, I rejoined the program, and I rejoined the program. I'm now coaching in the program. I love coaching. I teach on real estate and how to become the bank. And then I do some other things, but I am really, really excited about it because I have been in business for almost 30 years prior to meeting Marvin. And I thought I knew a lot about business. But one of the things that I've told Marvin and I've told many others is that I learned, and this is not a lie, I learned in 6 weeks what I had not learned in almost 30 years of being in business. I learned in 6 weeks from Marvin's program what I had not learned in almost 30 years of being in business. And that was really learning how to actually run my business, be a true leader in the business, how to really make money, right? So I realized that I had gone to school, got a master's degree, and all the things that Marvin teaches was never ever taught in school. All the textbooks that I had to buy at $100 a pop or more never ever taught me the things that Marvin taught. I don't know about anyone else, but when I went to school, they didn't teach me how to really make money. They taught me how to become an employee. They taught me how to work for someone else. And honestly, if you think about it, they don't really teach you how to work for someone else. They just give you a whole lot of information. And they tell you, take notes, right? We take notes. And as I just said a moment ago, taking those notes doesn't do much for us if we do not put those things to action. And leaving college unsure still about what I was going to do in life. Spent a whole lot of money. But in 6 weeks, Marvin began to teach me things about business and organizing just my thoughts and my ideas and having a plan, creating a plan and setting those goals and accomplishing those goals every day. And I did more. I felt like the world opened up to me just by doing the steps and following the blueprint that he had already gone through, already written down, already put in a portal for the rest of us to then take and implement. And so I'm just excited for you because I know where you're headed. And since I've gotten in the program, it's grown tremendously, tremendously since then. All right. So, but I'm not here just to talk about that. I am also here to talk to you about how you can become the bank in real estate. Now, I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to answer a question for me. If you could just go to bed at night and know that income is coming in and you don't have to worry about your bills anymore. And you don't have to worry about, rushing to get to work every day. You're making money in your sleep. Give me a word or words that would describe that. Mark, did you say unbelievable already? Mr. Coleman, I'm related to some Colemans. Callie said freedom. Some other folks said freedom. AB said unreal, right? It seems like it astonishing. I want it, AB said. All right. Simply amazing, Jamie says. Yes, favor. All right. I like that one too. Hungry, determined. Laquanda, I believe it is. Yes, absolutely. Awe-inspiring, Christelle. I hear you. So, but it can be done. And there are many people that are actually doing it. It's just that you haven't been in the right room to know who those folks are. Right? You haven't been in the right room. But I want to show you tonight how you can become the bank in real estate and the way that the banks work. And I'm going to share my screen with you because I want to show you what it is that the banks are doing and that you need to begin doing as well. And if you're not doing it, we hope that you'll start. Can I have sharing abilities, please?
Should be good now.
Thank you. All right, so let me show you this. Here's my little slide. All right, so here we go, right? Real estate has been the number one way, or at least one of the number one ways of the wealthy getting wealthier forever. Now, I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but that's absolutely true, right? Real estate has been one of the ways. Stocks is another, right? But the way the wealthy actually think about money and the way they leverage money is going to be vastly different from the way everyone else does it. So most people, when they think about real estate, they buy and become a landlord or they're living in it themselves. The wealthy, when they buy, they're thinking assets, right? Assets. And so they're thinking about when they're making their purchases, they're thinking about it differently. So assets are things that actually put money in your pocket. And a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Can someone agree with that? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that, right? So a liability is taking money out of your pocket. Thank you, AB, Jamie, you guys, thank you. I appreciate it, Rose. So it's taking money out of your pocket, right? So now I want you to answer this question for me. Are there any people, put a 1 in the chat, if you currently own your own home and you live in that home? It's not a dual family, it's a single family, just you living in that home. Let me know in the chat. All right, AB, Nicole, I see y'all. Okay, we got a few homeowners here. Marshall, Nanette, I believe. Thank you, I appreciate that. So now what I need you to answer now is that home, for the ones of you who put that 1 in the chat, is it a liability or is it an asset for you? Is it a liability or is it an asset for you? 3 years away from all. A liability, someone said. Others, asset, liability. Okay, we're getting both. I don't mind being a rental, owning some property. Yes, okay, I got you. So I got some that are saying liability and some that are saying asset. Well, in actuality, if you're purchasing the property, first of all, you do, the tricky way that they do it on those applications and forms that we fill out, and they'll say, do you own or do you rent? Right? Well, most people are still buying their home, right? But they use that word own as an ownership. How does that make you feel, right? When you know you've gotten the keys to something and you're paying monthly on it, but they're saying you own it, right? Is that true? Like, do you really own it? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. You do not own it, not yet, right? Not until it's paid off. So the other thing that they say about a home that you live in and that you're buying is that at the end of the year, it's a write-off, right? It's a write-off for you. So you get to write off the interest that you paid into that home. How many people have ever received a check in the mail for that interest you paid? Have you kind of seen it in your taxes? Do you even know where it showed up in your taxes? Do you know how much of a write-off you actually received? No, right? But they tell us that we get that, but we never actually see a check. Like I've never, and most times you may not even get money back from the IRS. Some of us don't get anything back, right? So it really is like having a debt, because we talked about anything that puts money in your pocket is an asset, and anything that takes money out becomes a liability, right? So it's really taking money out of your pocket. However, it's beneficial, right? We all appreciate being able to do that. So in the traditional financing, a buyer will actually borrow money from a financial institution, and the property serves as collateral for that loan. So in other words, you borrowed money from a bank. If you don't pay it back, guess what's going to happen? They're going to come and they're going to take the property back, right? Not that they want it back, but they're going to take it back. So it serves as collateral. Now, in the conventional sense, those particular loans is what most people will do. 76.8% of people will choose a conventional mortgage, which means they're going to a banking institution to always get a loan for their mortgage. All right. So that's usually what they're doing. Now, let's look at this for a moment. How does the bank work? So the banks are actually using your money to provide loans and collect interest on the money that they loan, right? So in other words, you go to the bank, you ask for a $10,000 loan. I'm just going to use 10,000. And they're gonna check your credit score, your income, all sorts of things, and they're gonna either come back and say yes or they're gonna say no. Now, if they say yes, then they're gonna attach interest to that loan, right? They're going to tell you what the terms are, meaning how long you have to pay that loan back. And then they're going to tell you how much that loan is going to be per month. And they're going to give you that interest rate, right? So now, traditionally, when you are financing, it often comes with really stringent criteria, right? Fixed terms. It may be challenging for some buyers to actually qualify for. And then it limits the pool of potential purchasers, right? Because everyone does not have stellar credit. Everyone may not be able to qualify because they may not have been at their jobs long enough, or they may not have all of the paperwork that's required, right? Most cases, it's based on their credit. Like they could have had a job for 3, 4, 5 years, but may not have the credit. So how do you get a mortgage? First thing that happens is they're going to estimate your home budget, right? Look at what you got financially. Review your credit report. You're going to get pre-approved. You're going to shop around for mortgage rates. You're going to then negotiate the home purchase details. From there, you're going to complete your full mortgage application. After you've done that, you're going to get approved by the underwriters. You're going to prepare for your closing. And then, of course, you're going to close on that mortgage. Now, question, how do you feel? You just went through all of that process. Give me some words on how you now feel now that you've gotten this mortgage, this loan. Give me some words to describe that. Let's see what y'all got to say. Excited, phenomenal, overwhelmed, and happy. Bro said sick, astonishing. All right, Christelle, I hear you guys. Mad, somebody said. They feel great, good, anxious, amazed, excited till something breaks down and taxes go up. Someone said scared. I got you, Nicole. I got you, Damaris. I hear y'all. Yeah, all of those feelings, right? Excited and overwhelmed at the same time. So absolutely, that's how we feel. And we feel accomplished, right? We did that thing. So it's a great thing. It's a great feeling. But what is happening now is you're actually stacking money into this loan, right? $2,000 every month goes into the loan. $2,000 every month goes into the loan. Third month, fifth month, right? $2,000 is going into this loan, which then, of course, is going to the bank, correct? So 90%, and I want you to hear this, 90% of homeowners still choose a 30-year fixed mortgage. 90% of folks will always choose a 30-year fixed mortgage. Now, who's that good for? Who's it good for? It's good for the bank, right? Now, I want you to remember, I want you to become the bank, right? So each month, your mortgage payment goes towards paying off the amount you borrow plus interest, in addition to homeowners insurance and property taxes. So over the course of the loan term, the portion that you pay towards principal and interest, of course, is going to vary according to your amortization schedule. So I want to show you this because this is why, and I'm going to stop sharing just for a second, but this is why the banks actually love giving loans, right? So if you qualify, they're anxious to give you this loan. And I'm about to show you right now why that is. So let's see, share again. Here we go. All right. This is what we call an amortization calculator, right? So this is what the banks are using to make sure that you know and understand what your loan entails, all right? So let's say you went to the bank and you told the bank, I want to buy this house and it costs $250,000. Now, you're going to give a down payment of, let's say, $50,000. So you took that, pulled it out of your account, gave $50,000 upfront. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to finance the other $200,000, all right, with the bank. Now, remember, we said 90% of folks would choose a 30-year term. Even though the bank offers 10, 15, 20, and 30, most will choose the 30. So we're going to go with that. The interest rate right now, the interest rates, I think they're still, I haven't checked lately, but let's say I haven't checked in the last week, but they're at like 6.44%. All right. They're around 600s. So here is, and the loan start date is going to be, the first payment is due January 2025. All right. So their monthly payment is a little over $1,200. But this is the part that I love about what the banks do. The interest paid for the total of 30 years is over $250,000. And that's interest only, the 644%. Now, the total cost of the loan is over $450,000 because we still got to get them to pay off this $200,000, the initial loan. And when we add that to the interest, we got over $450,000 that this person, this borrower, you would have paid on this $200,000 loan in over 30 years. Now, I will just pause there just for a moment because I really want you to see what you're stacking into a loan. Then what I want to show you is this. Here's the schedule. This is the breakdown of their payments. In 2025, they would have paid $2,000, a little over $2,000 in principal on that 200, which brought it down to $197.9. But the interest that they paid is almost $12,000. So on that over $1,200 that they were paying monthly, only $2,000 of it went towards paying down that $200,000. Almost all of it went towards paying the interest. Now, who receives the interest? Who's getting the interest here? Where's that money going? Let me know. Where do you think that money is going? That money is going to the IRS, the government, the bank. Absolutely. It's going to the bank. This is money that you're paying back the bank, right? So it's going directly to the bank. The principal is going to pay off the loan, and the interest is what the bank receives for offering you the loan. Now let's look 5 years from now, 2030, from 2025, 2030. 15.7 went towards the principal, excuse me, and over 73,000 the bank has collected in 5 years. Now, raise your hand, like put a 1 in the chat if you like to be the bank collecting the interest here. 5 years, you just collected over $73,000. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? So I'm going to stop sharing and we'll come back to that in just a moment. So this is the thing. When you become the bank, you get to do the same exact thing. All right? You get to do this the same way the banks are doing it. So I'm going back to sharing because I want y'all to see, I want you to see my slide here. So now you become the bank. You find a property. Now, I like to create my own, what we call mortgage notes, right? So when you buy a property and you get the loan through the bank, you're buying a mortgage, or the bank is selling you a note. They hold the note, you get the property, right? You signed a promissory note saying, I am going to pay X amount of dollars per month at this particular interest rate for this period of time. All right. Plus some other things that are in there. And so now when you find a property and you become the bank, you find a property, you make repairs. It's optional. I like to do that, which increases or appreciates the property right away. Right. So I find a property, or you find this property and you make the repairs. And now What you're going to do is you can use your own money, other people's money, which I love. You could use cash, loans, hard money loans, conventionally you could buy. You could do a DSCR loan, right? You could use what Marvin is talking about tonight. You can do all of those things. You can also do joint ventures with other people and share the cost of purchasing. All right. So, what you are ultimately doing is you are now going to take that property, you're going to market it to people, which is that other 26.2% of folks, because I told you 76.8% of people will go the traditional route and get a conventional loan. But there are 24.2% of people who are unable to do that, have great jobs, but may have some trouble with debt. And I'm not talking about having evictions or bankruptcies. Can't have those. Got to have a job and have to have that job for at least 2 years. But they ran into trouble because you know how we've done. I don't know if you put a one in the chat if you know someone, or maybe it's you now or have been you, where you've taken some credit cards, you got yourself into a little bit of debt, right? And you're trying to, like, squeeze your way out of it, right? I see you, Christelle, AB. Right. Kathleen, Dwayne, right? So I know people who have done that, right? So this is the thing, right? But those people are still good for making payments, would love to own their own property because they don't want to rent, but they don't know how to get out of debt, how to fix their credit, right? And they're doing it slowly, which means the dream of ownership comes somewhere down the road, right? So now you have the opportunity, once you have taken on this property, you have the opportunity to finance this property to someone else. And you become now the lender. You become the bank, right? So being the financier offers you greater flexibility in negotiating terms and can be an attractive option for buyers who may face those challenges we just talked about, right? So you now have the opportunity to finance this property to them. Now, because you are the lender, becoming the bank means that the seller, you, is acting as a lender. You're acting as a lender. Now you have the opportunity to earn interest on the financed amount. If it's $100,000 home, you're financing it for $200,000 or $300,000. You're now creating a potential additional income stream for yourself. Now, when I found out that I could do this and I could earn the interest and the power of the interest, I jumped on it. Why? I used to be a landlord. Now, I have nothing against people who want to be a landlord or like doing it. What I'm saying is, when I did it, I absolutely did not like it, hated it. However, when I discovered this years later, I thought, whoa, this is absolutely phenomenal, right? Because I no longer had to worry about tenants, toilets, sinks, driveways, nothing. All I have to do, first of all, how many people have ever taken out a loan, whether it was a car, student loan, mortgage, taken out a loan, and something went wrong, and you called the bank up and said, oh, hey, excuse me, Mr. Banker, I'm so sorry to disturb you today. However, the car that I bought or this student loan, I decided, you know what, I don't want to make that payment anymore. I want to turn that loan back over to you. Or you say, oh, the house, the roof is now leaking. I've only been in it for like 9-10 months. Have you called the bank to tell them that? Put a 1 in the chat. There should be no 1s because the bank does not care. They're not in the maintenance business. That is not what they do. They're in the interest-bearing business, right? They're into collecting that money, right? Mark said, good luck with that one. That's right. Not going to happen. And so by being the bank yourself and having the ability to finance to someone else, you get to collect the mortgage every month. You get to collect that interest that I just showed you. And you get to enjoy your life while that money hits your bank account. Now, the only other thing that you do need to do is, I suggest, and you don't have to do this, but hire a servicing company. Now, that servicing company is the company that actually keeps track of the loan. So they'll be the person that will talk to the borrower, and they'll be the person sending out that invoice every month. You know, that little statement we get in the mail, and now people get it, to their emails, right? And it says, this is how much you got to pay for this month, and how much interest you paid already year to date. And if there's escrow or anything like that, right? They send out those 1099 forms at the end of the year, right? And shows you what you've paid out, right? So that's what the servicing company will do for you. You do not have to talk to anyone ever. And guess how much I pay for that? Y'all just put some numbers in for me real quick. Just flatter me for a moment. How much do you think a servicing company would cost per month to handle that for you? 10%, $300. Let's see what we got. 10%, $300, $100, 500, 150. Okay. 500, Dwayne says. Pamela said 15%. All right. That's cool. That's cool. So in actuality, I pay this much. Can y'all see the chat? And then I'll tell you what I just put in. I pay $50 a month. And it just went up not too long ago, about a year ago. It was $25 a month. I pay $50 a month to have someone else handle that for me. So I don't know about you, but I just want to show you one more time what that interest looks like. Because for me, that was absolutely, positively the driving force. Hang on, let me do this here. That was absolutely, positively the driving force behind my taking out or beginning this process of becoming the bank. So I just want to show you that. So take a look at this for a moment. All right, here we go. Take a look. Now, we looked at 5 years, right? So let's look at 10 years. Here's 2040. They would have paid over $60,000 in 2040 in principal, bringing down that 200,000 to a little over 139,000. They would have paid $179,000, almost $180,000 by 2040. That's what is it? Yeah, by 2040. Now, some people said to me, what if they decide that they want to refinance or they no longer want to live in it? Okay, the average person lives in a home that they're buying for 10 to 15 years, while renters, the average is 1 year, because most people have a 1-year lease. And so we know that that's always a swinging door, right? People don't stay very long in rentals. But if they stayed from 2025 to 2040, I would have collected almost $180,000 in interest only. Add to that the $60,655. Plus, remember, we already collected $50,000 up front. Is that right? We collected $50,000 plus the 60 and the 179. Now, for me, That is mind blowing. And that is why the banks love giving loans to people who qualify, because they know on the other end of that, they are making out like a fat rat, right? Like the bag is big. So put a 1 in the chat if you wouldn't mind becoming the bank in real estate. Thank you, Marvin.
All right. Thank you, Coach Rosie. Can we put some fireballs in the chat for Coach Rosie, giving y'all some game on becoming your own bank with real estate, not needing to be the landlord. Somebody in here, I would say at least one person in here gonna take action on it. At least one person in here is going to become wealthy just by what you just learned today from Coach Rosie, which is amazing. Some of y'all gonna ignore it. Some of y'all gonna catch it. When you combine what I taught you earlier and this is like for a free webinar. We've been going way over time giving y'all information. I'm telling y'all, we usually go on for about a maybe hour and a half. We're already 2 hours in. We won't go this long again, but that's how much extra information that we're giving y'all today for absolutely free. This is powerful stuff. And Coach Rosie is a part of the 5-day challenge where she's going to be going even deeper into talking about becoming your own bank through real estate, as I will also teach you much deeper about structuring your policy for maximum effectiveness. And we're teaching you a couple other ways to earn some passive residual income and leverage your money. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you one last chance, if you haven't already, to join this 5-day challenge. There's no other event out there that's teaching you how to expedite getting out of debt fast while building wealth and building passive residual income streams and learning something that nobody has taught you in school when it comes to financial literacy for dirt cheap. Quite frankly, I'll never be ashamed. $397 is a steal. I just did one of these not too long ago, and everybody who took it said, we robbed you. We didn't pay you enough. We feel that we took advantage of you. But I do this to make you put some kind of seed down, because I do believe when you pay more attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a drawing for the people who take action now. Vicky, I know you did. So I'm going to do a drawing for the people who take action now. We're going to give away one more $3,000 course. And we're going to go ahead and do a drawing for that in a minute. So I'll give you all about 2 to 3 more minutes to take action before we close out for the day, because I know without a shadow of a doubt there's about 5 to 7 of you that still need to do this. All I can say is let your no be no and let your yes be yes, right? We're going to put you into a community of people that's going to truly transform your mindset. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Let's see. Vicky, I know you joined last week. Congratulations, Vicky. I got you down. I do want to shout out some of the names. Michael, or Vanessa, I don't know if you're on, but Michael, can you shout out some of the people who have already taken action today
Let's
while
go.
we're waiting on some new people to come through?
Yep. Let's go ahead. I'll give a shout out to Asmeen Anthony. We have Kimberly Cochran. We have Pamela Roebuck. We have Nicole Tony. We have Jean Washington. We have Betty Davis. Who else we got here? Let me see. Roche Ivy. We got Dwayne Turner, Damaris Merritt, Hiram Smith, Juliana Porter. Let me see. Christelle McCrory and Joseph Hickey Sr. and Callie Hurd.
All right. So
Shout
congrats
out,
to
y'all.
those who have already taken action. What I'm going to do, put a little bit of time pressure on you all. So let me Go to our favorite countdown. Here we go. All right. See a couple people working on it right now, but we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do a drawing.
All right. And
So
real quick, I see somebody private messaged me, hey, how much to get started? Maybe you weren't available to hear the past before Coach Rosie, but if you go to transformyourwealthchallenge.com, transformyourwealthchallenge.com, all the ticket pricing is there. So I see Marcus, just go there and everything will be lined out for you all. I dropped the link in the chat as well, so you guys can click there and get started. Okay, you all. So I just wanted to address that. I've seen a couple people messaging me asking. So yeah, so Marvin, we'll go ahead and pick the winner of the next 3K course. Rose.
yes.
All right. Rose says, can I attend this with my partner or with a partner? Yes, you can. Now you can't get both in the Zoom, or you can't both be inside of Zoom from different devices. But if you guys are in the same location, you guys are on the same computer, yes, you could definitely tap in and tune in together for sure. Don't we, Marvin? We have a lot of spouses, business partners
Oh
who
yeah.
chime in
I
together, don't we?
love that. Yep, for sure.
We even have some families, they'll bring their kids and they'll all watch it together on their big screen. Actually, we had one family, they projected it in their living room on a projector. It was so cool. So yeah, I love the ideas there floating around. But let's go ahead and pick somebody out, one person that took action. We're gonna pick at random one person to win this next 3K course. So everybody type drum roll in the chat real quick. Type the words drum roll in the chat real quick. You got to get this energy up. We got to get this energy up, y'all. There we go. Thanks, Vicky and Yvette and everybody. Awesome, awesome. Here we go. The winner of the last 3K course is Juliana Porter. Juliana
All right.
Porter.
Juliana Porter.
Juliana, you excited?
Yes, of course.
Well, I want to hear from you. Why did Juliana decide, you know what, this event is for me? I'm investing in myself. What made you say yes to this? Like, why did you go all in?
Well, I've gone through a transition with, losing my six-figure job. And so I've had time to focus on myself a little more. And so I figured this is time to do something else. And so I've been coming across things like this and I've been plugged in and, learning how to invest, the money that I have properly. And so I'm excited.
All right. I'm excited too. And you got a great big smile, Juliana.
Thank
So
you.
thanks for your energy. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're so excited to see you in there. So a bunch of people are still like, I think, asking some questions of me privately, like, when's this event start? The cool thing about this event is I know we have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, so we didn't want to throw it in right then. You know what, Marvin? We decided as a team, we met together with Marvin and with the team. We said, you know what? We want to do this at the top of the year. That means you can get your finances straight because everybody's setting their goals. Oh, this year with my finances, my New Year's resolution is this. We say, you know what? We want you to really stick to your resolution. We want to like just kind of propel you into the new year. So we are starting this at the top of the year. The dates are listed on the site. So if you go to transformyourwealthchallenge.com, I just dropped in the chat, but you'll be able to go see the dates on there. We start at the top of the year, so you can block it in your calendar now. You can tell your family, hey, New Year's about us now. We're locking in. We're going all in. We're going to make the new year about financial literacy, about getting our money right, and then you guys can tap in. So just know we wanted to give you guys time, and so make sure you definitely go tap in on the website since you do have time. So Dwayne said that's why I asked if we could upgrade. I'm locked in. Hopefully I can get in the platinum. Yes, that's a good point. If you can't get in platinum right now, just get in where you can. What's most important is, like Marvin said earlier, he seeded it a little bit, but what's most important is that you get in the room. It doesn't matter, as much as which ticket type, which is important. We encourage you to get platinum because you're going to get the best experience. But if you can't do that right now, what's most important is you just get in the room however you can, because being in the room is getting the information, getting the accountability, and that's what we're going to provide you all and more. So I love it. Laquanda says, let's start it from the bottom. Now we hear for real. So listen, last time before Marvin closes this out, transformyourwealthchallenge.com. And Marvin, anything else you want to say before we close this out?
I just want to say, hey, for those of y'all who are still thinking about it, go ahead and do it. If you can't, you just can't. But I will tell you this. I already know that everything that I touch turns into gold. And I'm not just saying that being arrogant. I speak that over my life every day. Everyone who I come across with and who I'm able to educate, they're going to have success. So don't miss out on that. If you couldn't make it, prayers to you. I know you're going to do great still. Take this information that we gave tonight and execute. But for the people who are going to take that next step, I cannot wait. You don't even know. Whatever you're expecting, I want you to raise that expectation. It's going to be better than what you even think it's going to be. It's one of those things that you can't even explain. And some things they can't be taught. Some things just have to be caught, which means you just got to be in the room. You got to show up. And the reason why a lot of us don't get to the point where we know we should be is because we just don't show up. 95% of success is honestly just showing up, getting into the room. But if you don't put yourself into the room, you miss everything that the room comes with. So that's all I got to say, Michael.
All right. Love it, y'all. Well, listen, everybody drop the word action in the chat. If you're going to take this information, and not just a challenge, but you're going to take this information, you're going to take action on it. Go ahead, drop in the chat action. So we know you're an action taker. Look, we started out with 200 people. Now we're down to 79. So these 79 people, I know you're action takers, Eric and AB and Jamie and Chandra. Good to see you all in here taking action. But listen, y'all, we're wealth creators, like Marvin said. Let's go take action. Have a great night. We'll see everybody that got tickets inside the Facebook group. Go join, check your confirmation emails, check your phone. We just sent you the link to the Facebook group. Marvin's going to be in there. Platinum, you get a Telegram chat. Go check out the Telegram chat. We'll see you all in just a few minutes, ticket holders. Everybody